Good morning. I'm Debbie Cafazzo. I'm president of the Board of Trustees for TUUC. Hope everybody's doing well this morning and still hanging in there. We welcome all who join us with hope for justice and peace. Especially, I'd like to send out some thoughts to people of color, healthcare workers, and service industry people who are bearing some of the heaviest burdens during this pandemic. We're a diverse congregation that encourages each person to find their own truth and belief, and we invite you all to join us in a search for meaning and community. A few announcements this morning. A reminder that our small group congregational activities are continuing virtually during the shutdown. Check our webpage or Facebook page for opportunities to connect with other folks in the congregation. Up to this point, we've been operating on sort of an emergency basis. Think hair on fire. Now we're trying to move into a more thoughtful planning for the long haul. So you may have read on our Facebook page about some of the guidance that came down from the UUA concerning when we'll be able to gather safely together again as a congregation. Unfortunately, this virus may keep us apart until at least January, possibly as long as May of 2021. And I know that's pretty sobering news for all of us. But the health experts note that the things that give us joy can also make us more susceptible to infection. Things like singing, mixing households and generations, just the act of being together in a large group indoors. Our staff and board members are working to plan how the next part of our journey will play out. So please stay tuned and stay with us. If you have suggestions on how we might proceed, ideas or concerns, you can email me, and if I'm living right, yes. Wait a minute, my email is going to pop up in the chat. There you go. Feel free to email me. The wonderful thing about this virtual platform is that we have an opportunity to welcome guests outside our traditional geographic area. So welcome to our new and returning friends. And again, be sure and follow us on Facebook. Links to the video version of this service and other important and inspiring messages will be there as well. Please continue to watch the e-news in your inboxes. So now, let us prepare to gather in worship.
Good morning, everyone. Between us, there are mysterious webs of connection, unseen yet more powerful than we could imagine are those connections that bind us one to another, to each other, to the animals, the plants, the bacteria, the viruses, the water and the earth and the air, the clouds and the stars and the planets, and each speck of interstellar stuff, each bit of dust. We have gathered here this morning to remember those connections and to celebrate that we are tied to each other and the whole of the cosmos. Let us join our hearts together in the stillness of this moment. May we feel all the web of creation and rest in its strength. It is good to be together this morning, my friends. Welcome.
We now come to the part of our service when we do the chalice lighting. On your chat, you can see the words of the chalice lighting that we normally have when we're together, and we'll use those same words this morning as Nancy Slocum lights our chalice. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and the holiness of life, in honor and gratitude for those who have gone before, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come.
And today, this Memorial Day weekend, we light a candle of hope and of memory. We light a special candle to remember those who have given their lives in service to us, to the country, to the hopes and faith for the future. Let us remember them in blessing this day and always. So may it be.
Good morning. I'm Nancy Slocum. I am the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth here. And this is the time during our service when we typically would invite kids to come up for the time for all ages. So I'm at home. I hope you're inviting your kids to come gather around the computer screens or the device screens for a time for all ages. And I'd also encourage children and youth to stick around for the whole service for this blessing of the animals today. Can we get a dog? How many of you have ever said that? How many of you parents have heard that plea? My son, who's now grown, when he was around 9 or 10, he started lobbying hard to get a dog. And I, at the time, just didn't feel I had the time, the energy, the money to take on a dog. And so I'd kind of put him off. His father and his stepmother had dogs, so I knew whenever he was at their home, he could get a dog fix. And so I would tell him, maybe someday we'll get a dog. Sadly, shortly before my son turned 11, his father passed away. And it was a really tough time for all of us. And I was always looking for ways to help ease some of the sadness that we were feeling. So that year at Christmas time, there were little toys called pound puppies. They were these little tiny miniature dogs that came with adoption certificates, and I wrapped them up and put them under the tree. And when Jake opened them, he looked at them kind of confusedly, like, why was I giving him this? And I said, that's just for now. But after the holidays die down and things get back to normal, let's go to the animal shelter and we'll pick out a dog. So sometime in mid-January, we went out to the local animal shelter, and all the time beforehand I was reminding him, it might take a while to find the right dog. This is a process. We aren't going to just walk away necessarily with a dog today. But of course, we found a dog. Minda. She was a black lab collie mix. She was quite beautiful. She had sleeky black fur like a black lab. Her nose was a little more pointed like a collie with eyes set kind of close together. And we decided she was the dog for us. So we took her home with us, so excited to have this wonderful dog. And to be honest, when she first came home, she was a little subdued, a little quiet. But then she got more and more comfortable in our home and started feeling more and more attached to us. And it wasn't long before we realized that Minda presented somewhat of a challenge to us that we weren't expecting. She was great when we had her, when we were home with her, when we had her around. But it was when we left her at home by herself that she would become terribly distraught, and she would start chewing everything in sight. It turned out Minda had something called separation anxiety, meaning when she was separated from her pack, and we were her pack, we were her family, when she was separated from us, she would get so anxious, so nervous and scared that the only way she knew to deal with it was to chew up everything she could find. So when we'd leave her at home, you know, my son would come home from school at the end of the day and he'd walk in the house and he'd look around and there would be pillows that had been chewed up that were spread all over the house, or blankets or clothing or pieces of plastic from toys or furniture and woodwork around the doors and around the windows. She would chew up everything. It was worrisome. We did everything we could think of. We went to the vets. We actually got her some medication. They have medication for dogs with separation anxiety, and that helped a little bit. We'd try closing her in one room to minimize the damage, but that made it even worse for her to be locked in. We had heard that crates for dogs, sometimes they feel more secure in a smaller space, so we got her an airline crate, which she very quickly learned how to open using her teeth to first press on one lever and then on another in order to pop the door open, and she could get out of there in seconds until she sadly broke a tooth doing that, and then she tried to eat her way out of the crate. It was really hard and it was really frustrating. And I would come home from work every day and look at all the damage she had done and help my son clean it up, and I'd say, I don't know if we can keep her. I just don't know. And then it dawned on me. It was what I like to call an aha moment, when, I had a great thought. And the thought was this, that we had a dog who was afraid she was going to be abandoned. And I was coming home every day and I was saying, I don't think we can keep her. Or another way to say that is, I think we should abandon her. I don't know if she understood the words that I was saying, but I have no doubt she understood the emotions behind it. And I sat down with my son and I said, this is really hard, but are you willing to do whatever it takes to keep her? Can we live with whatever she does? And we both agreed that we were ready to make that commitment to her. So we sat Minda down and we looked at her in the eye and we said, Minda, we love you. You are part of this family, and no matter what, you are going to stay with us. You are part of our family forever. Now, I wish I could report that miraculously she stopped chewing on stuff, and that didn't quite happen. But you know what? The very next day, she was much calmer. She chewed a little, but not like she had. She didn't destroy so much stuff. And we found chew toys for her that would help her, and it got to be a little bit better. And we continued to figure out ways to make it better for her. Not that she didn't chew on things still. But one of the things she would do, she'd come with me to work. If it wasn't too hot out and she could stay in the car, she loved being with me, and she would just stay in the car happily all day. Minda lived with us for many, many more years, and she was such a wonderful companion. She was just the best dog when she was with us. And I'm so grateful we had her. And I'm so grateful that she taught me about unconditional love. You know, we all talk about dogs loving unconditionally. Dogs love you no matter what. And Minda taught me to love unconditionally. She forced me to love unconditionally. That no matter what, I was committed to her, and that my love for her was what was most important. And I still think of her often whenever I'm struggling with someone's behavior, when I'm not liking what they're doing. I remind myself my job is first to start with love. Our pets teach us so many wonderful lessons, and Minda taught me one of the most important of all.
We now come to the part of our service where we reach out to support the church and support each of us by contributing either to Tahoma UU or Vashon Island, and you can see the invitation to generosity on your screen. This is a challenging time not only for the people and the communities, but also for the churches. Without having the number of people come to the Sunday services that we normally do, it's a little challenging for us to get the funds we need to be able to keep things moving forward. So as you're able, please support the church that's here to support you in spirit and in health and in growth. Thank you for your caring.
I invite you now to pause for a few moments of settling in, a time to breathe deeply, a time to reflect. Let us join our hearts together and come into the stillness of this moment. In the quiet, may we feel this web of creation, this vast web of creation, and rest in its strength. We bear within us joy and beauty. We bear weariness that seems without end. There is hope and love, pain from what has happened to us, maybe regret for what we have done or left undone. In these moments of stillness, may we hold them all, not wanting it to be different, not longing for something else, but simply pausing and being in this moment, with this breath, with these companions, and resting in the web of all creation, the web that bears all things. And in this moment, with this breath, may we know peace. Let us pause together in stillness. Oh, Mary, go ahead.
Forgive me this morning. We had a little bit of a flub there. I'm going to be doing the reading for you today from Gilead by Marianne Robinson. We were very pious children from pious households in a fairly pious town, and this affected our behavior considerably. Once we baptized a litter of cats. They were dusty little barn cats, just steady on their legs, the kind of wayfish creatures that live their anonymous lives, keeping the mice down and have no interest in humans at all, except to avoid them. But all animals seem to start out sociable. So why were we always pleased to find new kittens prowling out of whatever cranny their mother had tried to hide them in, as ready to play as we were? It occurred to one of the girls to swaddle them up in a doll's dress. There was only one dress, which was just as well, since the cats would hardly tolerate a moment in it, and would have been unswaddled as soon as they were christened in any case. I myself moistened their brows, repeating the full Trinitarian formula. I still remember how those warm little brows felt under the palm of my hand. Everyone has petted a cat, but to touch one like that with the pure intention of blessing it is a very different thing. It stays in the mind. For years we would wonder what, from a cosmic point of view, what we had done to them. It seems to me to be a real question. There is a reality in blessing. It doesn't enhance sacredness, but it acknowledges it. And there is power in that. I have felt it pass through me, so to speak. The sensation of really knowing a creature, really feeling its mysterious life and your own mysterious life at the same time.
John Ames, the protagonist in Gilead, who is a minister in a small town, he tells us about those kittens that he baptized when he was a child and then reflects about what it means to bless. I love these words. There is a reality in blessing. It doesn't enhance sacredness, but it acknowledges it, and there is a power in that. I have felt it pass through me, so to speak. The sensation is of really knowing a creature. Really feeling its mysterious life and your own mysterious life at the same time. I wonder if you've known that moment sometime in your life. I certainly have, and not just in times of ritual. You experience that connection between you and another. You are tuned into that mysterious life that exists within and between and around us all the time. Today we're going to pause and bless our animal companions today. And in that blessing, I think about how my connection to our animal companions, the ones I've had through my life, as helping me to be connected to something more wild and more and larger than just the human life that I live. Our cat Mona, of blessed memory, reminded me too regularly of the truth of nature read in claw and tooth. She was a hunter. She was a fierce hunter. And she would bring mice and birds and frogs into the house that we had to save or bury on a regular basis. Now, the one thing that I learned from Mona that I really wish I hadn't was that frogs can scream. Yes, they do. And there was that other time that the injured mouse was so harmed that Peter had to take it out of its misery. And that memory still chills me. And I bless him for taking that role so that I did not. We are interconnected into all of that. We nearly hairless animals belong to that broad community, and our companions remind us of that connection. We live in a mystery, always, always in a mystery. Even if we think we know what it's about, we are in a mystery and connected to each other in that mystery always. So today we are going to pause and celebrate those connections. We pause to be in mysterious relationship, not just the daily round of feeding and treats and walks and snuggles and playing and petting and all that. We pause to be grateful for the ways they love us and play with us and save us all the time. Save us by reminding us, as Nancy noted, about the importance of unconditional love and how transformative it can be. We pause to say a heartfelt and very intentional thank you to them for all they have brought to us in our lives. But before we stop to say that thank you and to say the blessings, I invite you to have a look at these beloved companions that we have. We're grateful that singer-songwriter Bill Staines granted us permission to use his song, A Place in the Choir. Many of you probably know that song. And because we're still learning and our tech skills are still still kind of in the beginning phase. We ask forgiveness for any mistakes or misspellings or name omissions on the beloved companions that you sent us pictures of. Let us pause now and be blessed by the music and by the beauty and the mystery of these beloved companions.
All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands, applause, or anything they got. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands, applause, or anything they got now. Listen to the bass, it's the one on the bottom where the bullfrog croaks and the hippopotamus moans and groans with a big to-do. The old cow just goes moo. The dogs and the cats that take up the middle, while the honeybee hums and the cricket fiddles, the donkey brays and the pony neighs and the old coyote howls. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands, applause, or anything they got now. Listen to the top where the little birds sing on the melody, with the high notes ringing, the hoot owl hollers over everything, and the jaybird disagrees. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day, the little duck quacks and is on his way. The possum ain't got much to say, and the porcupine talks to himself. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands, applause, or anything they got now. It's a simple song, a living song everywhere, by the ox and the fox and the grizzly bear, the grumpy alligator and the hawk above, the sly raccoon and the turtle dove. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands, applause, or anything they got. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low, some sing high, some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands, applause, or anything they got now.
How many of you squealed a few times as you watched those beautiful faces go by? I know when I was looking at them as I tried to edit them all to get them all in there, I just kept going, oh, what a beauty, what a beauty. I'm so grateful for all those pictures, all those faces, all those blessed companions. So let us bless these companions. I hope they're nearby for those of you who sent in your pictures. For those of you who didn't, I hope you have them nearby. And if you don't have a companion right now, I encourage you to think of one who is special to you. And let us affirm together in this blessing our relationship to the creatures and companions, and know that our relationship with them is sacred. We are all surrounded by and encompassed by a mystery that is beyond us all. So I invite you, for all the animals who surround us, named and unnamed, beloved or feared, still let us bless them all. So say, we give thanks and bless them all. Say it directly to them if they are with you, in your hearts if they are not. Let us also say we remember and celebrate those companions who are no longer with us. I invite you, if you wish, to type the name into the chat so that we all know who you are missing today. They are with us still, you know. So let us say together all in all in our own places. We bless these memories, and we bless the love that never dies, that lives between us. In our blessing, let us just pause to hear these words from B. Lake, an Aboriginal poet. She writes, "Forever oneness, who sings to us in silence, who teaches us through each other. Guide my steps with strength and wisdom. May I see the lessons as I walk, honor the purpose of all things. Help me touch with respect, always speak from behind my eyes. Let me observe, not judge. May I cause no harm, and leave music and beauty after my visit. When I return to forever, may the circle be closed and the spiral be broader." So may it be. Let us pause now for just a moment of stillness, a moment of quiet. And I invite you, if anything has touched you or moved you in our service today, I invite you to set an intention for how you will live it out in your life as we prepare to part from one another. In an episode of The Vicar of Dibley, a sitcom about a minister in a small English countryside village, Geraldine, the vicar, holds a nearly disastrous blessing of the animals that turns out, in fact, to be quite lovely. At the end of it, she says, "I'd like to thank all of you for not biting each other and from holding off going to the loo. And I'd like to thank all the animals for the same thing." I echo her gratitude today. We have come to the end of our service. May the moments that we have shared stay with us as we go out into the world. May we remember our place in the world and our place among our fellow creatures. Let us remember our connection to this miraculous, impossible web of life that embraces us all. And may the love that has been present here be with you and around you, and may it guide your way today and in the days to come until we meet again. Amen.
We now come to the end of our service, and with that, the extinguishment of our chalice. For those of you that have chalices at home, this would be the time to join us in that extinguishment. On the chat, you will see the words, "We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again."
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and of this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and of this we live.